Hi, I'm Steve Keniston.
And I'm Samir Shah. Steve and I are both cybersecurity specialists with Dell, and we're always looking for better ways to tell the cybersecurity story.
Which changes every day, and AI is only accelerating things. It's hard to keep up.
Which is exactly why we started doing the cybersecurity tapes.
It's a totally different approach. These aren't just talking heads or white papers dealing with a single capability, but fictionalized stories designed to humanize these threats and put them into real-life context for you to learn from.
In these stories, we investigate what happened, what went wrong, and the best way to address the challenges.
Samir and I will be back to discuss how this story stacks up against the reality of the modern cybersecurity landscape.
Without further ado, roll the tape.
The incidents portrayed in this episode of the Cybersecurity Tapes are fictitious. No identification with any people, places, companies, or products is intended or should be inferred.
And it's recording. Okay, here we go. It's 6:36 a.m., April 3rd. We got a solid 4 and some change hours of sleep before we got an SOS call about this, what we're scrambling for. A new assignment, a potential cyber attack in progress, which of course we love. The assignment, not the cyber attack. But right now, the thing you need more than anything else in the world is that umbrella. The big one. Honestly, I'd take a poncho. It's really coming down. And for this assignment, there's a chance we'll have to go out into it. We'll find out soon enough. Reminder to self, order some spare emergency ponchos. Oh, coffee's ready. Priorities. Here's the rundown. The Lost Valley Electric Co-op has a vendor-supplied remote management terminal that's reporting unusual activity from at least one substation that services Milkweed Ranch. Yes, that Milkweed Ranch. Xanadu 2.0, they call it. The place where the people who think Jackson Hole is roughing it go for a little peace and quiet and privacy. Mostly privacy. The co-op doesn't have a lot of residential customers, but the few they do have deep pockets and tend to be what you might call power hungry. And right now, that power's out. At least I think it is. Unconfirmed on the ground, but reported in the system logs. I assume they all have state-of-the-art backup generators, but the valley has this whole other side. Downtown, mom-and-pop shops, hospitals, literally ranch hands, because, believe it or not, there are still a few actual working ranches out there. Ranch hands need the lights on, too. Reminder to self, buy coffee creamer. At this point, we don't know if the two are related, the unusual activity in the management terminals and the power outage, or if it's just the storm. I haven't been able to get a hold of the hardware vendor yet, probably because it's 6:37 in the morning, but I know the Lost Valley techs have been making house calls to all the substations this past week with firmware updates, which needed to be done manually on-prem. Possible lead, but don't get ahead of yourself. Not much else to go on at this point. There you are. More to come.
While Maria, an in-demand cybersecurity consultant, heads out into the storm, an emergency meeting was already underway at the Lost Valley Electric Co-op Security Operations Center, the SOC.
Okay, I think that's everybody. Wait, no, Grackleford, hello, welcome. Make some room. So, I don't actually know who or how many of you to expect for a middle-of-the-night emergency like this, plus we're still trying to track down a handful of techs that have already headed out into the field this morning, I guess trying to beat the storm. And I'm worried they won't, so we'll go ahead and just call this group that's here now the core team, and dive right in. Sound good? Great. Kevin too, just in the nick of time. You made the core team.
Let's go. Thanks, boss.
Okay, again, thank you for rushing over to meet us here at our humble little mission control center. Especially in this weather, which I think we can all agree is... concerning. They're calling it a 1,000-year storm. Some of you may remember last spring when we had that other 1,000-year storm roll through here and how disastrously bad that whole ordeal was for Lost Valley Electric. Is still going badly in some cases. The goal this time around is to not do that ever again. Sound good? Okay. Moving on. Either congrats on your sudden overtime pay this morning, or I'm deeply sorry for ruining your plans on your day off, depending on how you want to look at it. But I promise you, I would have much rather done neither. Shannon, oof, you just missed the window for a spot on the core team. But don't sweat it. It's really a meaningless distinction.
Ooh, that hurts.
Still an honor, though. Wear it with pride. Now, I know many of you from different departments have already started meeting one-on-one with members of my information security team, and more importantly, the new security and response protocols that come with it. However, I also know we haven't had time to meet with all of you yet, so I'm going to speed run the basics. So, with generous support from our beloved Milkweed Ranch community, we've been investing in new tools, expensive tools, to help us automate and monitor power distribution, maintenance, honestly, pretty much everything. Hey, no open liquids at the workstations, Kevin. Please. Okay, now it would be hard for our customers, probably many of you even, to fully appreciate how big of an impact all of this has already had on the lives of everyone down here in IT, for sure, but also security and operational costs overall. Remember that come bonus time. That said, I definitely feel more comfortable if this storm could just hold off for another week or 3 until we're fully trained up. You know, all of us. Or at least the storm downgrades to something more in the 25 to 50 year range. So, while my team stays laser focused on system logs, I need the rest of you to...
Sorry to interrupt, but
Speaking of my team, what is it, Denson?
you better take a look at this.
What exactly will I be looking at?
That's why I want you to come take a look at it. I don't know. Substation 13 is... It's concerning.
Ah, great. Lucky number 13.
So, I think this is a really great example of why you want to have good monitoring tools. Now, it's not just a way to tell you that you have an anomaly or that an anomaly is happening, but maybe how that anomaly compares to other things like system shutdowns or time of day access or many different types of things, bad or good. And over time, I think we know that AI is going to help improve on this, but you need to have a good solution to make sure you're capturing that data, because at the end of the day, it's all this data that's going to lead you to what might be happening. And AI is going to help you do that much faster. And we're seeing new AI tools come to play in a lot of IT to help understand what's going on. Right, Samir?
Yeah, I think that these days having a monitoring solution is a non-negotiable from a cybersecurity standpoint. And, this utility may be a small organization, but the great thing is a lot of these services are available in a very inexpensive kind of pay-as-you-go or consumption-based model. But I also think you hit on something important, which is these systems are continually, every second, every millisecond, capturing usage data, and that's going into the database that's being analyzed. So if an anomaly shows up, it can predict whether that's a malicious anomaly or is it something that is just a matter of course and might just be a blip, for lack of a better term. So yes, I think if this organization does not have monitoring, that's a big miss. And, at Dell, we've got our managed detection and response solution. A lot of customers love it. But when I talk to customers, I always say, you can buy ours and it's great. But if you don't buy ours, buy somebody's.
It's a good point. So I know it's a little early, but do we see any issues with what is actually going on here, right? We might know or we might not know whether or not this is a security thing, but I'm immediately taken to the fact that they actually haven't pulled out their incident response plan and started to go through it. They're pulling team members together, but in a good, well-rehearsed incident response plan, a lot of these things should be second nature. And of course, in that sentence, it's well-rehearsed, right? And we talk a little bit about this whenever we talk to customers about processes they want to make sure they have in place to be prepared for a cybersecurity threat or an attack or getting the business back to operational.
It's funny that you said well-rehearsed because there's a part of me that's saying in order for it to be well-rehearsed, one would have to exist in the first place. And I'm not getting a warm fuzzy that these guys are on top of it enough to even have one. So That would be step number one in my view, is make sure you have a clear incident response plan. Make sure it's well rehearsed, as you said. Make sure it's printed out on paper, so if everything goes down, you can still access it. In this case, I wasn't quite sure if enough had happened yet to invoke it. Was it truly clear to them that an incident was occurring? But a lot of times these plans can be designed to even help diagnose and figure out if something is going on. And if nothing else, if you suspect, it's kind of like, if there's a forecast of bad weather, we start preparing before the bad weather shows up. Wouldn't hurt to pull it off the shelf and be ready to act in case it truly is a malicious attack.
I couldn't agree with you more, Samir. The fact that, I'm taken aback by this, that they haven't gone to it, probably means they don't have one.
Data security is even more important in the era of AI. As the use of digitization, cloud computing, AI, and other emerging technologies fuel the growth of data, the need for advanced security measures becomes even more pressing. The heightened need for security is further amplified by the increased global emphasis on privacy regulations and the severe penalties for breaches, highlighting the unparalleled value of data amid rising security risks. Built in at the silicon level, AMD Infinity Guard offers the advanced capabilities required to defend against international and external threats and help keep your data safe.
Obviously, Alex, Lost Valley Electric's Chief Information Security Officer, was being sarcastic. But on this morning in particular, the number 13 had every intention of living up to its reputation.
Ben, hey! Sorry I missed your call earlier. Yeah, I know. I'm looking at it now. Rolling in from the west. Affirmative. Just finishing up at Station 13. I'll head back there as soon as... I know, this one's taken a little longer than expected. A comedy of errors, really. As soon as I switched control over to ENG, which is why it's been offline for as long as it has, which I'm sure you've noticed, there was this crazy lightning. I jumped, and the dang drive dropped down behind the distro panel. Then, to fish it out, I had to... I don't know, half an hour maybe? I promise you, I'll head straight back to base camp the second I switch back over to run mode and lock up. I did have a few low water crossings getting out here though, so hopefully... Obviously, of course, safety first. Better get back to it then. Thanks, Ben. You too. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Where were we? Oh, first, if anyone new has joined the stream, take a moment to make 100% sure your connection's secure. Tor browser, IP blockers, the whole deal, so we keep our private little club here private. I've got my setup on lockdown, even the voice modulator. Wait, hold on, do I? Yeah, voice modulator. So, if I can do it out here, in the dead center of the middle of nowhere, you can do it too. Seriously, if you have any doubt, any at all, then scram. I'll post up the video later to the forum. Okay, so there's a ton of reasons to tap into a remote management terminal like this Hastings model here, and nearly just as many ways to do it. Now, I can't tell you the objective of this mission specifically, but that doesn't mean I can't pass along a little knowledge to you next generation hackers out there. Hackers unite, all that. That said, I myself happen to have legitimate access to these substation control booths, so if you need to break into one, you're on your own for that part. Alright, back to it. The last thing we did was install the...
Hello, me again. I probably shouldn't be driving while making voice notes. I hope I'm coming in clear. So, the more I think about it, the anomalies don't make a whole lot of sense. Even considering the 1,000-year coincidence of this. It really is wild. Should I pull off to the side and wait it out? I helped design Lost Valley's new cybersecurity system, plan, process, everything. We know their toolkit. It's our job to assume it was a cyber attack, whether it is or not. If it was, which is the direction I'm leaning, then I know the first place to start. More to come.
This is really getting interesting. Let's see what happens in part 2.
This episode of the Cybersecurity Tapes was produced by Dell Technologies and AMD. The executive producers were Steve Keniston and Samir Shah. It was written by Steve Keniston, Samir Shah, Max Robidoux, Mike Wiebe, and Bradley Parrott. Directed by Bradley Parrott. Featuring performances by Danu Mara, Bruce Nozick, Michael Danan, Brandy Zapata, and Les Best. Edited by Tim Edwards and Bradley Parrott. Sound design by Andy Slater. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and leave us a review. Or visit thecybersecuritytapes.com to learn more.